anybody that knows me knows that I like to do this little thing called stealth camping. And so basically what it is finding somewhere to camp. I don't really camp necessarily, but I'll lay my hammock out and just relax for a couple hours, do a little bit of work on the computer. But it involves kind of finding places that aren't exactly where you're supposed to be. And, just leaving a low profile and hanging out or camping. So there's this one really cool spot. It's my favorite spot, and it's actually right off the side of the highway. Unfortunately, they started building houses there, and they just completely demolished this area and everything around it. So unfortunately, that spot is gone. I went out there and spent a lot of time and cut a bunch of stuff up and made it basically my own spot. And so now I'm looking for a new place. So let's see what we see. So this area I've driven by for many years, and never really took a look at it, but there's this huge field behind some businesses. So we're gonna take a look and see, and hopefully nobody else is back here. So this spot is kind of on a corner area. It's where one of these side roads meets the main highway, literally right off the highway. So I think this would be a really good spot to where there would potentially not be anything built here, at least not for a really long time. And I see a path over here, so we're gonna just walk around back here and see what we see. Alright, I see something already that looks somewhat promising. There's a path that's covered up by some brush that way. There's another spot this way, and then there's a kind of little spot up in here. So we're gonna go look at these and check them out. Right now, this area is really cool. I think I found a couple decent spots. Now this is, it's on this kind of property off the side of the highway. So I do like to use a hammock, but there's a big tree right there, and then there's a tree right here. So this would actually be a perfect spot. I don't even really have to clean up anything. The only downside, I would say, is the path that I walked in on is right over here. So if someone does start coming this way, it would be not super obvious, but definitely somewhat within view. The good side of it is that I'm going to hear them coming long before they know I'm here. This whole area under here, where I thought would be a really good spot, is kind of very open, like a dome type of thing. So there's some more areas back this way we're going to go check out. Here's another little area. Now, actually, I think I like this one a little bit better because we have this tree here, and then we have that tree right there. And the ground is pretty clear. There should be next to no work to put something up here. And then you can see there's the highway right there. And if we did do it here, no one's going to be coming in back this way. It's pretty thick and nasty, but I can watch this way where the trails are, and this is far enough back that nobody'd see me back here. So let's look at a couple more spots in this area. Okay, so we're gonna call this spot, I'm gonna call this first spot we went to, call that spot 1. I like it a lot. It's very nice. I think for my purpose, it's gonna work out perfect. Since I'm using a hammock, I like to use a hammock and kind of go on the lower side, just a little bit off the ground. What that does is that takes you directly out of the field of view. Most people, they'll say where their eyes are, almost 6 feet. That's kind of where they're going to be looking, and then kind of down just a little bit. So the lower you can get, and you have that brush that's in that midfield of view, 4 feet up or so, that's going to give you the best camouflage, the best stealth. I did walk a little bit further back in spot 1, and there is a really, really nice area. It's fairly clear, but it's got a lot of ground coverage. So if we're going with the traditional tarp or a tent, that's really going to be the best spot. A little bit further back, and it has that ground covered. So anybody looking in, it's going to be just completely covered and camouflaged. So let's go ahead and check out what I will call part 2, or spot 2. All right, well, here's spot 2, and we can see there's the highway. That's the direction I walked in on. So for my purposes, using a hammock, this isn't great, but we've got, you know, a nice open spot here. There's also a little cubby back this way that would be really, really good. You're completely covered in here. Just right there if you wanted to do a tarp. And then, let me see if I can back this out. Oh yeah, there we go. There's another little spot like back up in there. And there's another spot right over here, kind of back, if you look back up in there. So I call this spot 2. This grass is anywhere between knee to waist high. Do I want to walk through this? Because I gotta think about snakes and ticks and fleas and bugs. So let's, I'm gonna look at the GPS and see where this goes. Well, unfortunately, you want an adventure, you get an adventure. So we're walking through it. It's like just this open area, not, I wouldn't say really a road, but a path. And then it goes off this way back towards that corner of the highway. So we're gonna walk it. Let's go. One thing when I'm doing this is I do want to kind of keep track of my surroundings, meaning it's tall grass, which I didn't realize I'm right by the road. There's tall grass. So any and everything that walks through here leaves a trace. So as I'm walking through here, I can be as careful as I want. I'm leaving flat grass and stuff. And then here is a path, I don't know if you can see it, of probably some type of small animal. So I don't know if you see that back there, but that's like that spot that I was crawling around in, but it's further down. So when it rains, I'm sure that fills up with water. And this path goes all the way from the water right through here into this area here. So this is a sign of there's definitely a trail of animals going through. So in a situation where we need food, I would be tying some snares right here. Also, there's no, other than that, there's not a bunch of grass or anything laid down and laid flat. So what that does is tell me that there's nobody been walking around back here. So this would be a good spot for a hide. Okay, so there's the road. And if we look, looks like there's a house right over there. Here is that road or path that marks an L. So the road's right there, and this kind of goes alongside. So we're gonna walk down this way for a little bit and see where this is gonna take us. And then so far, everything I'm seeing, I think spot 1 was the best. So there's a house over there, and I'm right by the road, so I do want to be kind of careful. I'm kind of at what I'm going to consider the end of the road as far as the looking around type of thing. You see, there's the highway, and then right over here is the other road. So it meets up just right here on this corner. And then look what I found. I found another like pretty wide open area. So on my pack, my opinion is you could, if it's worth having 1, it's worth having 2, which means it might be a good idea to have 3. I don't know. Let me wipe my camera. So what I mean by that is I've got a saw. Exactly for purposes like this. I also have a knife that has a saw on the back, and then I have a knife, as you saw, right here. And that's more for like if I need something immediate, possibly self-defense, anything like that. And then I carry a pocket knife. So 4 cutting tools. I'm not going to get video of this necessarily, but we've got all these branches here. I need to cut all that stuff back, and I need to kind of just clean up the area a little bit, so next time I come out here, it's just ready to go. So I'm going to be doing that. All right, well, here we are. Let's take a look. Got the hammock set up. And I'm just gonna relax, just enjoy being outside. It's cool weather. I think we're done with 104 degrees. We're 75 degrees. Yes, please. Okay. So anyone who doesn't know what this is the Hennessy hammock, but it's a mix between like a hammock and tent. It has a screen to keep the bugs off. It has I don't know what you call this, a fly. So you can actually tuck this down, that way you stay completely dry. It comes with all the string and all that. But the cool thing about this is it has Velcro on the bottom. And you crawl into it. Hold on a second, let me get in. So there's our Velcro line, it snaps it shut. And then the way this is designed, it's not like a typical U-shaped hammock. It's actually designed, it's got more area on the top and on the bottom, like let's say the lower left and the top right. So you actually lay in it sideways. And what that does is it lays you flat, straight. So it's very, very comfortable to lay in. There's a branch right here. I slipped a little bit. And then it has the line here that holds this up. And then of course you've got all your other stuff here for your pouch. And okay, I'm done with this. It's time to relax. Well, we've been out here for a little while. And so I think this is going to be one of my new favorite spots. Probably going to be my go-to spot now. So the next thing is actually, let's do a little test. Let me walk out here looking and see what I can see. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so I'm literally 5 feet from it. This is like a real dark green, and then the bag is tan, so generally just kind of blends in. Let's walk, I don't know, 100 feet and see how it looks. Okay, so it's almost impossible to see. See if I can move around. Oh, there we go. You can kind of see it back there. But if you're just walking by, it blends in really, really well. And I'm not even 100 feet from it. I'm like 50 feet from it. You can see how close the highway is. All right, this is the last part, I promise. So we're walking back. I did want to just kind of give a shout out. I don't have any affiliation with Hennessy hammocks whatsoever. But I had my phone out, I had my charger, the cable, my computer, and let's see, my saw. I had a couple things out, but I was able to, I went ahead and just timed it to put everything back together in my backpack. So it definitely takes a little longer because I have the extra stuff. But the Hennessy hammock calls what they call snake skin. So you basically take the whole thing and roll it up over itself 2 or 3 times. The snake skins slide off, so you just literally slide them back on, and then you just feed it like a Z into the pouch that it comes in, and in less than 5 minutes, so it was 4 minutes and 50 seconds roughly, I was able to completely take everything down, pack it up, put my backpack onto my back, checked my watch, and I'm walking back to the truck. And that is finally it. I am about to be back at the truck, and then we're gonna go back home. That's it.